session 2. So 30 in Belém. This session is about measurements ensuring a safe and sustainable food chain. So food safety and confidence in the food chain itself affects us all, because we often don't think, we often don't think about what's needed behind what we eat, what systems need to be in place to make sure that what we eat is safe, that firstly it's available to us at all, that the quality of the food is good, and even that the quantity that we're receiving is what we actually paid for. So our experts here today will explain what kind of problems they encounter at the national, regional and international levels, and how standardization and metrology can help to provide solutions to these challenges. So just to introduce the panel which we have here today, firstly on the left we have Kamala Mamadzada, who is the Acting Director General of the Azerbaijan Standardization Institute. Next in line is Bob Joseph Matthew, President of the International Committee of Legal Metrology and also Vice Director of Legal Metrology at METAS, the Swiss Federal Metrology Agency. Then Alec Muvundika, who is Chairperson of the Technical Committee of the Board at the Zambia Metrology Agency. And finally, next to me here is Pamela Dagg, who is Director of Legal Metrology at NSAI in Ireland. So, with those short introductions, I'd like to ask directly Kamala if you could tell me something about what the challenges for safe and sustainable food chain are at your national sort of level. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to thank you, Ayn, for inviting me to discuss this important topic. From the national perspective of Azerbaijan, the challenges to ensuring a safe and sustainable food chain are deeply connected to our country's rapid economic development, our rich agricultural heritage, and our strategic ambitions to be a key supplier of high-quality food products to the region and the world. Our challenges are not just about overcoming obstacles, they are about harnessing unique opportunities. And I will frame these challenges into some main areas, such as harmonization of standards with the international requirements and strengthening measurement and laboratory capacity. I would like to specifically highlight that our efforts are guided by our highest vision social economic development strategy. This strategy provides expanding physical and digital education and training opportunities in the agriculture sector, address for manufacturing and business, and development of food security map for the country, and establishment in new laboratory network at Azerbaijan Metrology Institute. Azerbaijan's path to a safe, sustainable food chain is to create connection between traditional and modern, national needs and international requirements, and current potential and future ambitions. As a national standard body, our mission is to actively support the adoption of the and implementation of the standards on our country path to safe and sustainable food chain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that sets the scene quite well for some of the challenges which are faced in this area. Dr. Alec, can I ask you to say something from Zambia's point of view about the challenges?
Well, thank you very much for having me here. Zambia, like many developing countries, faces several interconnected challenges when it comes to ensuring safe, resilient, and sustainable food chains. And these really could be put in several baskets. So I'll start with the first one, which is market access and compliance challenges. A good number of our farmers, especially small-scale farmers, do face challenges or they struggle to meet export requirements. For instance, when it comes to phytosanitary standards, traceability, as well as measurements accurate. at a small scale level. So these really are a big challenge to our small scale farmers. The other second basket of the challenges which I want to allude to is the issue of climate change and variability, of course. Increasing droughts or extreme weather events have impacted us negatively as a country. And these mainly lead to either crop failures. If you've got too much rain, the fields get flooded. If you've got too little, you've got drought. So crops also fail. So that's one basket. The other basket is a limited capacity for food safety monitoring. This is a big challenge as well. We, as a country, we don't have adequate laboratory infrastructure to carry out monitoring of testing contaminants like residues, aflatoxins, and of course other microbial hazards. So we have a few infrastructure in Lusaka, but when you talk of coverage countrywide, very inadequate. So that really is a major challenge for us. So infrastructure is one thing. Where there is existing infrastructure, the actual equipment to undertake measurements is also a challenge. You find most of the equipment that is there could either be obsolete. So really, the insufficient modern equipment in many districts, countrywide is also another challenge. The fourth basket I want to talk about is the post-harvest losses and, of course, poor handling of food items. We lose about 30 to 40% due to poor storage facilities, as well as inaccurate moisture measurements. So again, that is a big challenge which we face. And then the last basket of challenge which I want to allude to is a chemical and pesticide misuse. We have farmers who want to use chemicals, but the way they use it, there isn't enough awareness on accuracy in terms of the application of these chemicals. I think for now, on the challenges, let me end here.
Thank you very much. I think that's given a good perspective from a more developing country situation in another continent. Pamela, how about from a European perspective? Can you say what kind of challenges exist, whether they're different from those we've heard about?
Thank you, Ian. We have very similar challenges to what our two speakers have already said. So we are looking at making sure that we have a good food supply, a high standard of food that we produce, so it meets all our requirements, both of our own national regulations and of the countries that we export to. So, as you know, Ireland does export quite a lot of food brands of different types. We are world known for particular brands, who I can't mention at the moment, but that export market is very important for the Irish economy, while ensuring that we have a sustainable food chain and food supply that meets our own national needs for our own people. So we face the same challenges without the accurate measurements and the agreed standards, so that we can ensure that we maintain that critical part of our economy in relation to exports.
Thank you. It's interesting. The problems, the challenges which are faced are quite similar, depending, even though looking at three different regions, I think.
Yeah, it's just slightly different regulations that we all have to be aware of.
Thanks. Can I ask then move on to Bob Joseph, and what can you tell me about any challenges that there are at a more international level?
Thank you for the question, and I think if I just summarize a little bit what you were saying, this is what I hear or get feedback from various member states. So one is that besides the climate issue that you have, depending on your region, you have a lot the discussion about the infrastructure. In many countries, the infrastructure is inadequate to the standards required for export. You have, and that was a key example you brought, insufficient key equipment. The equipment in the labs, for instance, they're not good enough. But then you have also the other type of challenges, the transportation network, for instance. You need to have a very efficient transportation network, and you have something in terms of system that is reliable. Other things is that come across on this where OML can help a lot is about the technical capacity and the training of the people who are working in the so-called food chain. So we noticed that due to the lack of skilled personnel, many countries come and ask for our help. Could you provide us with training? Could you provide us with material? So the expertise and practice in this area is one of the key aspects where we as an organization can help. Further, the whole understanding of the food hygiene varies also from region to region. We have different ways of looking after things, but there needs to be a certain standard to be met. And I think also there, the creation of awareness and the training that we could provide would be quite a step forward. Then obviously all the countries have economic constraints, and transportation or in general export has become quite costly nowadays. There also, it would be interesting to understand then how you could overcome at least the technical barriers to trade, and this is where OML can help. And this OML can help there with helping building strong regulatory frameworks, and we could also help with them by showing which standards to use. So basically OML's help is actually to show which type of measurement standards could be met, because the OML recommendations are considered by the WTO as standards which are important for trade. Because standards provide a reliable framework for monitoring critical parameters. So everyone would then look after the specific parameter everywhere the same way. You could facilitate compliance with these type of regulations, and this is very important. We notice that more and more you have data about everything. So you could take data-driven decisions that help you to improve your own efficiency in the food chain, but also would reduce waste throughout the whole entire system of supply. And basically from farm to fork, you would have everything integrated through data.
Thank you. I think that's been an interesting introduction to some of the challenges which exist, and moving on, maybe just leading into there, I think some of the things which can be offered at an international level to try to support this food chain issues and to address some of the needs that have been expressed. So, Alec, could I just ask you about what kind of solutions that are being put into place in Zambia to try to address some of those things? But interestingly, from your first response, then you mentioned awareness of small farmers and things, for example. And apart from what you're doing on the food chain products themselves, can you say a bit about what you're doing about this awareness issue in Zambia? Thanks.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. I know we've got a lot of challenges which we are trying to address, but it's virtually impossible to address all of them. Suffice to say, government has established an institution called the Zambia Meteorology Agency. So this is a parastatal institution established under an act of parliament, and it's actually funded by government. So really, the agency plays a key role in safeguarding the national food chain by ensuring that all measurements used, especially in agriculture, food processing, distribution, as well as retail, are not only accurate, but reliable and traceable to international standards. So how does the agency do it? We have several departments within the agency. So through our legal, scientific, and industrial metrology, the agency strengthens food safety, promotes fair trade, and protects consumers in several ways. We can do better. We're not saying, we're doing everything, but we're doing everything, within our powers, under the prevailing conditions to protect consumers. So how do we do this? We do this in several ways. One of them is technical support to production lines. That's measurement technical support to production lines, as well as providing quantity and packaging labeling. So to us, that's very, very important. So we do this through type approval of equipment that are used in measurements. So in Zambia, if you've got a scale and it hasn't got a ZMA label, that scale is illegal. And a good example, although we're talking about food safety here, is a speed camera, issue, which is very, very common. So members of the public are now becoming aware that if you are caught over speeding and the policeman stops you, members of the public now are asking whether that equipment has been calibrated by ZMA. So that really is a good thing, and that is slowly also, filtering into the food, chain aspects, where you have farmers actually invite us as an agency at their farm areas to come and calibrate their weighing scales, which is a good thing to see, because now there is awareness by users. Users now realize the importance of measurements. And we actually get overwhelmed as an agency because we've got requests from different farmers, countrywide, to go and calibrate, or verify their scales. So to us, that really is a good thing, because it shows that the message that we're putting across through our public relations departments is taking root, and people are understanding, their rights when it comes to measurements. Then through, again, our legal metrology department, we as an agency, we verify and approve measuring instruments that are used across the food value chain. And these include, as I indicated, the weighing scales, but also the moisture meters used in grain marketing. We have a serious problem of aflatoxin contamination in Zambia. And this is obvious because of the temperatures. So the moisture levels have to be accurately measured. We can do better, but we're getting somewhere. So at the moment, we can't have our groundnuts exported into Europe because of high levels of aflatoxin contamination. So the meters that we use have to be calibrated by ZMA. We are trying, within our capabilities. I mean, we've got resource constraints, but we're also doing, something within our capabilities. So that's one thing. We also do traceable calibration and measurement standards, especially when it comes to the grain marketing aspects. Again, aflatoxin contamination is a big, big issue. So we are very, very active as an agency on that. I think for now, these are just some. There are a lot of more things that we do, but for now, let me end here.
Thank you. I think that's given us a very interesting set of solutions that you're applying, and maybe raise some questions for later. Could I move on to Kamala and ask what kind of solutions are being put into place in Azerbaijan?
Thank you. As Ali mentioned, accurate measurement of key parameters such as temperature, mass, volume, humidity, and other essential indicators throughout production, processing, and transportation helps minimize food loss and ensures the delivery of safer, higher quality products. In this way, reliable measurement practices directly support sustainable production systems and strengthen overall food security. Metrology plays a vital role in ensuring that there is trust in measurement. And a robust metrology infrastructure also enhances countries' trade capacity. International commerce depends on the ability to demonstrate compliance with international standards, and precise measurement systems from the backbone of that assurance. And measurement accuracy is equally vital in areas like energy efficiency, waste management, and the optimization of industrial operations. For this reason, technological solutions alone are not sufficient to achieve climate targets. Measurements conducted through these technologies must also be accurate and reliable. Without reliable measurements, sustainable outcomes of strategic decisions can be ensured. As a national standard body, our main activities include the development, adoption, and implementation of national standards, as well as organizing and supporting technical committees that develop and review standards across various sectors. And Astan established 10 national technical committees in the field of standardization of the agriculture and food technology, such as Technical Committee, Quality and Technology of Food Products. This technical committee plays an important role in ensuring high quality and sustainable food production in our country. The work of this technical committee primarily focuses on the development, updating and alignment of standards for food quality and processing technologies with international requirements, and the transparency, traceability and safety of production environments in enterprises operating the food sector depend directly on the implementation of these standards. This technical committee continuously monitors international practices and adopts modern approach from international organizations such as ISO to the national system. And this facilitated the improvement of food product quality, the expansion of export opportunities, and the more reliable integration of our country to the global food chain. And sustainability is also one of the priorities of this technical committee, promoting energy and waste-saving technologies, minimizing waste, and similar measures form a central part of the technical committee's objective. Asland also established the National Technical Committee in the field of meteorology. And the secretariat of this technical committee is managed Azerbaijan Meteorology Institute. And this technical committee is responsible for coordinating and guiding national activities to measurement standards, accuracy and traceability to ensure a consistency with international practices. Its scope covers the development, harmonization and maintenance of standards that underpin reliable measurement systems across all sectors of the economy. As standardization body, national standards body, we have adopted several standards to promote and to protect both manufacturers and consumers in food chain. To strengthen food safety and quality management, and to bring the work of all food chain organizations in line with the international standards, we adopt a national standard based on ISO 22000 food safety management standard, and we provide regular training on its implementation. By implementing these standards, it ensures the safety of food products, and the health of consumers plays an important role in the food sector. ISO food safety management standard help organizations identify and control food safety risks, while also enabling integration with other management system standards such as ISO 9001. The ISO 22000 standard ensures the provision of food that people can trust throughout the global food supply chain and can be applied by any organization regardless of its position in the food chain. And with respect to laboratory capacity, I would like to emphasize that, as I mentioned earlier, according to the action plan of the socio-economic development strategy, the establishment of new laboratory network at the Azerbaijan Meteorology Institute is envisaged. In line with the strategy, the new laboratories will be established and the existing laboratories will be upgraded. And for this purpose, by the Azerbaijan Meteorology Institute, 7 new laboratories being opened. And the establishment of these laboratories aims to ensure that measurement in the country are organized in accordance with the international standards, to introduce new methods and to improve the quantitative and qualitative indicator of meteorological service. The opening of these laboratories is of strategic importance of strengthening the meteorological infrastructure in Azerbaijan, including the application of innovative technologies and the development of new methods in the field of meteorology. In addition, the modern laboratory network is equipped with advanced equipment in line with the international standards. And these laboratories will serve as an important platform for meeting the meteorological needs of industrial enterprises, conducting scientific research, and fostering international cooperation. They will also create opportunities for improving the professional skills of young specialists and for implementing scientific research projects. As a national standard body, we in turn also adopted a national standard based on ISO IEC 17025 for testing and calibration laboratories. And this standard defines the competence requirement for such laboratories, ensuring that they deliver accurate, reliable, and traceable results supported by a robust quality management system. Its implementation provides numerous advantages, including improved measurement accuracy, greater customer trust, international acceptance of test results, and more efficient, consistent laboratory operations. Overall, ISO IEC 7025 enhances a laboratory's credibility, competitiveness, and the capacity to perform at internationally recognized levels.
Thank you. That's it's very interesting to hear some pretty detailed things that you're doing in Azerbaijan to develop those. Thank you. Can I ask you then, Pamela, about what kind of solutions are being put in place in Ireland or even in Europe more widely, if you want to explain that? Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Ian. Similar to Kamala, we have a quality infrastructure in place for food production, both for our laboratories. We have a quality mark on our food so that people know, consumers, when they're purchasing the food, that it meets the required standards, which we use then as part of our branding for exporting. So using the ISO standards, UCO, ML recommendations for prepackaged foods, temperature, for moisture content, for transport efficiencies, sustainability, is an integral part, and training people, giving them the knowledge and showing how good that is in relation to our food supply. We've done quite a lot of work in this area, and as an important part of the Irish economy for our food and agricultural production. So we continue to work at ISO in the production of standards in relation to food production. We also have our own national standards that we work to as well, if there is a standard that is missing that we need for our own food safety and production. And then we work with the food safety authorities to see what their needs, to work with for developing national and international standards, but using the OML recommendations so that we ensure that the measurement and trust is there. We also, Liquidology, do a very robust checking of the scales, of the measuring instruments, the thermometers, any trade instrument that is used in the production. We do our own in situ inspections, but we have a calibration and verification program for those pieces of equipment. So we ensure that we know how much food is being produced. We try and minimize the waste production, because then we know how much food is being wasted during the production process, so we get better efficiencies. So we will continue to work in that space and work collaboratively with all of our European and international colleagues, but we are at the forefront of this with the Farm to Fork with the EU policy. We're looking for green food production. We want sustainable production. We want to reduce the emissions and decarbonize the agricultural sector. but you can only do that by using the international standards and making it sustainable, taking into account the needs for climate action. So by putting those together, we will continue to find the solutions to the challenges to meet the demands of our targets for 2030 and 2050.
Thank you. Very interesting, some points there, I think. So, Bob Joseph, you already mentioned something to do with the OML recommendations and how there are publications in relation to this kind of area. I guess the legal metrology traditionally is more just about the trade aspect, but can you highlight a bit more what the OML is doing in this field? Thanks.
There are several aspects I would like to perhaps join in what she was saying. I think, first of all, we shouldn't all be aware that actually also standards and the OML recommendations, they can do a lot to ensure food safety, but also sustainability. So generically, it is really essential for controlling hazards and preventing contamination. And when we just ask me what type of recommendations we have, it's just like actually many people forget that there are many aspects of the food chain that are somehow one way or the other influenced by the use of measuring instruments. So there are many, many technical recommendations by OML which are used in the food industry. So one is, and that's the most famous one in our community, is the R76. It's a recommendation about the use and the technical requirements for the non-automatic weighing instruments. Then we have, and that was the topic that you were addressing, the whole pre-packaging. There are two, the recommendation 79 on labeling. And labeling is really a key aspect nowadays because you want to be sure that what you buy is also really what you really buy, because you need to understand what is in it. And more we see a tendency in the market that the rules are becoming more severe on this. And there's another one. This is on quantity of the product in the pre-package itself. That's the R87. And then we have, and you were saying you're doing inspections, so the use of weighing instruments, you need to check if the weight that is put on a weighing instrument is the correct one. So you have a recommendation on weights, the R111, which defines also the accuracy classes of specific weights. We have, one of you was talking about moisture, the R59, moisture meters for cereal grains and oilseeds, R146 on protein measuring, and protein is actually very, very important for the whole human body. But we have not only recommendations, we have also documents. The D12 is actually explaining how legal metrology controls can be used in the whole process. So there's a big array of documents and basic publications that you can use from the OML library as such.
Thank you. I think that's very interesting to know that there are those resources that are available, and obviously they're already harmonized at an international level so that individual countries or regions don't have to invent their own rules. Then they're working more in harmony with other countries across the world. Before asking for any remarks amongst yourselves, are there any questions from people in the audience that we have here on any of these subjects to any of the presenters? If you could just say who you are, that would be at the beginning. That'd be useful. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Andrea. I'm from Ecuador, from the standardization body. I have a question, especially as a standardization body. I would like to know which is the benefits to adopt the standards, as Azerbaijan could explain us, for these kind of food challenges.
Thank you, Andrea, for the questions. Yes, we adopted national standard in the different field of the good food technology based on ISO standards. The implementation of standards helps address major challenges in metrology, such as measurement uncertainty, inconsistencies in sampling, calibration issues with instruments and variations in results from different methods. As a result, the adoption of these standards make a significant contribution to strengthening food safety in our country and harmonizing laboratory results, enhancing consumer protection, and ensuring more transparent and sustainable management of the food chain. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, thank you. And they also, by adopting the standards, they both the business and the consumer and everybody within the chain has complete faith in the quality of what is being produced. So there is trust and assurance at all stages within the food chain. So the more you adopt these standards, it shows that you want to work to these standards as a minimum, and that you're prepared to showcase the importance of the standardization. So you are at a particular level, and that is you will maintain that level for all the production that you do, or for what area you work in.
thank you. Does anybody else on the? Yes,
It's-
Dr. Ose, yeah.
It's very good question. It's also very open, so because for me it is, you have you have many standards. One is the ISO suite 2200, whatever number afterwards, but you have standards that help you to define the parameters that are critical, that need to be monitored. This is very important in my view, and this is where metrology then can come and help, because what is important is that you understand what type of contaminants are in the food, what type of levels of nutrients are in the food. And for instance, in Switzerland, we developed all these competencies where you understand what is coming from the outside. So like industrial pollutants, you try to analyze this with specific chemical processes. But there are also natural things that are in the water, whatever. So you need to understand this. And metrology and metrologists have these competences. This is where the collaboration comes into play, and that's why this assembly of people is very interesting to see, because we can help each other. And this is one of the key aspects, and this is one of the key takeaways. You should always remember there are standards, but we can help from metrology to show how you can then really find out if the technical requirement that is defined can be really verified, and we can also help to educate people.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, please. Oh, we've got several waiting.
All right, good morning again. I'm Tafara from Jamaica. And I think it was a very good discussion.
Closer.
Oh, it was a very engaging discussion, as a matter of fact. So I'm just going to go quickly. So Alec, you mentioned several challenges about market access and compliance challenges in the industry. Pamela, you spoke a lot about standards and their availability and how they can be used. And Bob, of course, you mentioned overcoming technical barriers to trade. My question to then, and you mentioned it a bit, about collaboration. How can we collaborate more to support industry then in overcoming these challenges? Because certainly you had mentioned the challenges. You mentioned, we have heard right through the discussion about how measurements can support food security and food supply, making sure. And then there's the challenge of health, a healthy population, quantity, the amount that we're consuming. So I would like to hear quickly, how can we collaborate to support industry better?
Thank you.
Yeah, let me start. Yeah, sorry. I think the issue of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. I'm from Zambia, which is a typical developing country, and we are facing several challenges. I'll give you one typical example where producers of food would want to adhere to, the necessary standards. But then the challenge that we have as a standards body is we can't be found everywhere, you know. We only have offices in the capital city and those, you know, big cities. We are not everywhere. So already that's one challenge. And yet, food is being produced everywhere. So how do we overcome that? The second challenge is we've got a standards board quite all right. Do we have adequate trained meteorologists? We could have, but are we able to, you know, retain them? So the point I'm trying to drive at is the issue of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. It's one thing to have a standards board, but it's also another thing to have that body that verifies to ensure that, you know, the equipment that they have is traceable. So, and that's where the interoperable, you know, comparisons comes in. That's where collaboration comes in. You know, within the Southern African region where I come from, we have SADCAS. So we have laboratories within the, you know, countries, you know, compare themselves, you know, and see how accurate their, you know, measurements are. So really, the issue of collaboration cannot be emphasized. And also, you know, I was very happy when I heard that, you know, our CEO is now a member of the, you know, OM, yeah, which really is a good thing, because now we are going to, you know, apply standards that are international, you know, at our local meteorology agency. You know. So I think, you know, just to stress the point that, you know, the issue of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. Thank you.
And I think mentioning the regional cooperation there in Southern Africa, there are similar regional bodies that exist throughout the world, especially in the metrology region. We have 6 different organizations, so that it's very important to engage with them, I think.
So, sorry, I forgot to add one point. So it's actually mandatory, you know, for our agents that a good number of our what, you know, labs are accredited by the regional body called SADCAS. So already that's a point of, you know, a collaboration within the region. Yeah. So I thought I should also stress that.
Thank you for your question. One of the important role of measurement relates to improve food quality, and it's used to determine the quality of food products, including factors such as nutritional value, taste, and texture. Measurements are also used to enhance production processes and increase efficiency across the food supply chain. And overall, accurate and consistent measurement is essential to support the global food system, ensure food safety, improve food quality, and enhance supply chain efficiency, and facilitate trade, minimize food waste. As Azerbaijan is as about collaboration, Azerbaijan is a member of ISO, CIMIC, or IML, and other international and regional organizations, and we use these platforms to exchange expertise and knowledge to find solutions for sustainable food production and supply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, collaboration is the key. We cannot do our job without having collaboration with a lot of different agencies, especially in food supply and production. So we work closely with our manufacturers, with our exporters, with our consumers, and with the relevant national bodies. And then in that form, we then use that collaboration to work at a European and international level. But how can we do more is by attending events like this to raise the awareness of the parties that need to be at the table, and by continuing with research. There's a lot of research being done in Ireland in relation to food production. So it's by using that research to develop standards for the foundation of newer and better standards. It will help to provide more trust and assurance in what has been given. So it's safe food, sustainable food, and then how we support our national policies and our international requirements, both for food security, just transition, and reaching our climate targets, so that everybody comes along the journey. So that collaboration can always be enhanced, but the more we speak and work with each other, the better it will become.
So first of all, this question is really excellent because you can see we are all eager to give you an answer or several answers. But from my perspective, I would like to give you concrete examples so that you can really imagine what we are talking about, because we were all saying collaboration is important and so on. But I start with Zambia, for instance. So I got to know one of his colleagues through OEML. So basically OEML, there you have a collaborative platform, you meet people. And I know it's not about food safety, it's about road safety, because that's what you mentioned. So a team from Zambia came to Switzerland to learn about the system that we use for speed metering and the labs that we have and what we do for verification. And they looked at our regulation. They took this as an inspiration to implement in Zambia. Then we had a team from Zambia in Switzerland and we trained them how to do the verification, how to do these things. So this is a way of working together. Another example would be capacity building. So we are in discussions with colleagues from the Azerbaijani Metrology Institute. So Switzerland and Azerbaijan are working together to build capacity in several areas. We have in OML concrete examples. Either we work together with UNIDO, which is also a partner here, where we just do trainings. We participate with our own experts, or specifically Mr. Dunmill is often there. Or then we have OML training centers and training events that we organize with different countries in Asia or Africa. So there are different ways of working together, and that's why I gave you concrete examples. The key is that you really use the connections you have, and metrologists and standardists and physicists, everyone is very open. This is what I learned until now. Thanks.
Thank you. I did see a couple of other questions. I don't know which one was first, but you're at the front here, so I'll ask you first. Thanks.
Thank you guys for a fantastic conversation. My name's Adam Stingemore from Australia. My question of each of you is, if you had a magic wand and could change one thing about the environment in which you're operating, what would it be?
Thank you. Interesting. One thing then from each of you. I don't mind order.
You begin,
Yeah, that's a good question, but a difficult one to answer. In my case, I mean, from where I'm coming from, well, we're talking about measurements here, but we are also talking about measurement contributing to a country's GDP. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to drive at is, my dream, the way I envision my agents is to have presence countrywide. Our organization is one of the organizations that actually contributes to the national treasury in terms of income. Yeah, we are funded by government and we contribute a lot to the national treasury. So if I had something within my powers to resolve this, what I would want is to have a fully funded metrology agency, because then we are under Ministry of Trade and Commerce. We're talking about trade. It's got a lot of potential to contribute to employment creation, in a developing country like where I'm coming from. You also contribute to safety of the food which people consume. So, I mean, if I had the powers, if I had the keys to those powers, I would have presence, everywhere in the country, so that we have an office, in each district to provide such services to farmers. Farmers are actually looking for our services, but we can't be there 24/7. So if anything within my powers is to provide adequate funding to the agents, so that it plays its right mandate, as Parliament, as enacted by the Parliament. So I think that's what I would say for now.
Very good question, Adam. Nearly too good. I suppose magic one is, do you want everybody to be on the same page at the same time, going on the same journey? So that's what I would like as a magic wand. We are all trying to achieve the same goals, but working together in unison to achieve that through using measurements as a basic foundation to ensure that you know what you're making your policies on, and then using that knowledge with all the other parties involved to get to the journey that we need to do to ensure that we are sustainable and protecting the planet at the same time, that we are working with the planet and work for safety of our own populations and countries, so we are all going together on that journey.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now working on our development of national standardization program, and for next 3 years, and we are planning to adopt more national standard, and we wish harmonize more standards with international requirements. Thank you.
So, thank you for that question, even if I'm not David Copperfield. I think for me today, one of the biggest challenges that I see is that there's not trust everywhere in the system. So if I could change something, is that each and everyone in the globe is trusting the system that he or she is using. And this is where we can all help. But this would help so much. If everyone would trust whatever system or process or she is using, would enable us to trade in an easier way. It would help everyone just to get a step further. That's what I would do with my magic wand.
Thank you very much. Some ideas there. There's another question, I think.
Thank you so much. I think when I raised my hand, I had 2 points, not necessarily questions, but I think the point that my sister here raised about collaboration and about coordination. And my direction of thinking was, I think, related to my brother from my neighbor country. I'm from Malawi, by the way, Redwar Musopole. So what I wanted to say is some of the things that need to be looked at closely, they would require actually a different agency away even from trade. So it would be maybe from the producers. So talking about the farmers, maybe they are in a different ministry altogether. And some of the things that you are testing, like carcinogens, what do you call them? The aflatoxins, for instance, it's due to the practices that, the farmers, are engaged in. And therefore, the awareness and the capacity of the extension workers to be able to transfer that knowledge and teach the farmers on how to handle the commodities will make, I think, their job that easy. So I think this interrelatedness in the tasks is quite important. So the coordination, the collaboration is quite crucial. But I also wanted, I think, to discuss the issue of enforcement of those standards. And this comes, I think, with the capacities. What capacities do we have as an agency and as an institution to be able to enforce down there? Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, in my country, the Bureau of Standards, which I think is similar to the agency, they went out and they were able to clamp down on the traders that are selling fertilizers across the country. And these fertilizers, if you look at the description and what they claim to be, you find that it's all different. What does that mean? They're duping the farmers. They're duping those people who are also having to buy. So I think the issue of enforcement is very, very crucial. And so it also depends on the capacity of the agencies and the collaboration. Let everyone know. Even the farmers, the consumers should be able to demand. Once we're able to demand as consumers, then I think everyone is going to be up to the game to provide only what the consumers want. So anyway, it wasn't a question, but I think my input into the discussion very useful. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. That's very interesting. just before I ask the... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alec,
Yeah,
give
yeah.
an answer.
Well, Malawi and Zambia was one country, so we are from the same country, you know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't agree with you, more. Yeah. But I think the point that we need to note is that the agents must play its role so that it can inform other, government agencies. For instance, the point of aflatoxin that you raised is very, very important. The agents must have, equipment that is able to detect accurately the levels of contamination, so that it can inform other, agencies like Ministry of Agriculture to now tackle the problem at source. Because it's one thing to have the contamination in the grain, but it's another thing to actually tackle it. Yeah. So the collaboration cannot be overemphasized. Suffice to say, the accuracy of measurements is also very, very important, because you need to know the levels of contamination in, for instance, groundnuts or maize grain, so that the other government wing can be able to tackle that problem at source. I'll give you an example in Zambia. We have a problem of contamination in aflatoxin. We can't export groundnuts at the moment, and I work for a research institution. So based on the results that we got from the equipment, which informed that, we had to come up with a product that actually tackles aflatoxin contamination at source. So we came up with a product which you call AflaSafe. I don't know if you've heard about it. Yes. So that is now tackling the problem at source. So then, you can actually start, measuring, how is that problem being, is there an improvement, So I can't agree with you when you talk about collaboration. It's very, very important. Thank you.
And could I just ask, it was an important point that the enforcement is really needed. There's no point in having regulations if you're not going to enforce them, or standards that are used if you're not going to enforce them. But I think what you highlighted earlier, one of the important things is about awareness beforehand, because if the people don't have awareness about what they're supposed to be doing, then how can you then hit them with a big stick for not having done it? So I think that you brought up the awareness there, and it's an important subject.
Well, the awareness issue is very, very important, although we're talking about food safety, but I usually like, linking it to the speed trap on the roads. Yeah. People now are aware that, policemen usually take advantage of people's ignorance. But now the public is aware. If you are caught over speeding, you always demand, is this gadget calibrated by, has it got a ZMA sticker? If it hasn't got, you even ignore the policeman, If he writes you a letter, you go to court and say, well, he was using an illegal equipment, So that's a level of awareness which is now, we are seeing, through the publicity by the agency, It's also very important to have a public relations affairs within the agency, so that people can be made aware of their rights.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, part of Illegal Metrology, we actually do a lot of awareness and education, both of our consumers
and Deputy Head of the Division of Ecotechnology, Development Economic.
And we also do the awareness for our traders, for the consumers, and we help
of the
them.
Council of Engineers.
So we do education. We spend a lot of time making people aware, but we also provide a kind of consultancy for the businesses, so they know what's required in relation to labeling, to quality control, to measurement, what instruments they need, what expertise, where they can get it, what training programs are available. So awareness is key, but we also educate and aware our other regulatory bodies, so that they're aware of what we do. So we are working together to get to give the trust and assurance, and that everybody's getting a fair measurement.
Are there any other points that you would like to raise on this? If not, I think the subject of awareness and getting trust in the measurements which are made in the standards and so on is very important, and it's something that I like to say that what countries really need to develop is to have competent consumers. So you need to get some education at as early a level as possible about the importance of measurement to support scientists in their research, to support the way the government operates in these regulated fields and so on. But if the consumers themselves don't have that education on standards and metrology, then they're not what I like to call competent consumers when they grow up. They don't go out into life knowing what they should be looking for. If there are no other points, then I'd just like to round up, I think, just to show that I think a lot of the discussion which we've had has shown that awareness is a very key issue. Trust in measurements, which is the whole point of having a reliable, traceable, sustainable metrology system, is to ensure that you've got trust in the measurements that you see around you, the ones that you use, the one that industry uses, the ones that government uses, and so on. And also, as usual, even if you have a good standards in use, the standards usually mention something to do with measuring things. So metrology in many ways is what I think Bob referred to as an invisible hand that's there. People don't really think about it. They don't know that goes on, but it's supporting all those issues in standards across so many different domains. Well, I hope that's given you an interesting sort of roundup of some of the problems and solutions that can exist across food chain. And thank you all very much for coming out on a hot and sticky morning in Belém. Thank you.